Hello and welcome back to the Social Selling Podcast. And today I'm bringing a controversial topic. I'm going to ask the question and share my thoughts on this on should LinkedIn pay its creators? Should LinkedIn itself pay the creators of content on its platform directly? If you're creating content, growing an audience, getting engagement, should you be rewarded by LinkedIn directly for all the benefits that they're getting from your content? Because let's be honest here, when you create content and it drives good engagement and you grow an audience, yes, there are benefits for you, and we're going to talk about that. But there are big benefits for LinkedIn because you are driving more eyeballs, you are keeping people on the platform, you are helping them sell more sponsorship, more ad space, more premium platforms. So they're making a bit of money from you. Should we be getting a piece of that pie? We're going to dig into that topic today because when I asked this question to my audience on LinkedIn, there were mixed reviews. And actually, I'll be honest, the opinion seemed to split 50-50. 50% of people thought, no, LinkedIn should not pay creators. And 50% were saying, yeah, we should be getting paid. So let's dig into this. Let's first look at why this question exists. And the reason it exists is because on other platforms like TikTok, for example, or YouTube, for example, the platform themselves pay their creators. So when you hit certain milestones on YouTube, when you've achieved so many subscribers and your videos are reaching so many people, YouTube will start to pay you a percentage of the ad revenue that they generate. So YouTube creators that are hitting a certain milestone will get money directly from YouTube. So they are paying creators. That's an incentive for creators to keep creating and to keep creating good content. TikTok is the same. TikTok will pay its top creators a percentage of the revenue that they're generating. So as a content creator on those platforms, you can earn directly from them as well as through other means. Now, obviously, LinkedIn doesn't do that. If you create content on LinkedIn, then essentially LinkedIn are the main beneficiaries. However, there are ways you can make money sort of outside of LinkedIn. But this is why the question has been asked for many years. And lots of people have been asking it, and there is no real direction from LinkedIn around this. There have been some rumors in the past that LinkedIn was exploring paying its creators. And in fact, about 2 years ago, they ran a paid creator program where they offered sort of small sums of money for a very small cohort of creators. And that was more about trying to get more people creating on the platform. And actually, they used it to attract creators from other social networks to come and join LinkedIn and make a bit of money to sort of get them embedded in the platform. But that really, it didn't achieve a lot and it kind of died out. Where we are now is we're getting lots more creators, lots more people putting out great content, but not a lot of support from LinkedIn. So let's look at this from both sides of the argument. Let's first look at the negative side. So the people that are saying, no, LinkedIn should not pay its creators at all. That argument has exactly a lot of merit for several reasons. One of the biggest reasons that people were communicating to me that they thought LinkedIn should definitely not pay its creators is the fear that it would sort of encourage really poor content that just games the algorithm. And we all see it, really dull content. It could be really generic motivational quotes or just the stuff we all see that, yes, sometimes it gets the highest engagement, but actually it's not really giving much value. And people are kind of falling out of love with that type of content. But the problem is, if it's generating the most engagement, then technically, from LinkedIn's viewpoint, to them, it's worth the most money. So those are the creators that would probably be rewarded the most. And actually, would the message be, you need to do more of that content to make more money? So would we just create a platform where even more of that bad, dull content would be created? That was the fear, and it is a justified fear. But let's sort of flip that to the other side and look at platforms like TikTok and YouTube, who, again, very similar. There are some really poor standards of content that do get really high engagement, and so yes, monetizing it is going to incentivize and drive more of that content, but in completely equal measure. Both YouTube and TikTok have really good content. So it's kind of, chicken and egg situation. You're going to get both. So if you start to monetize, yes, you're going to attract more bad content, but in equal measure, and maybe even in more measure, you'll attract good content as well. So yes, you're going to have bad, but you're also going to get the good. It's a very fair argument, and LinkedIn, like the other platforms, would have to do its best to try and tackle and minimize the really poor content and incentivize better the content that's driving real engagement from real people that are getting real value. So I understand the negative to it is, yes, okay, you start to pay your top creators, you are going to start to reward people that perhaps don't put out the best content, or even worse, are using things like pods and engagement groups to get that engagement, where again, it's artificial. It's sort of supporting bad content and artificial engagement, and essentially what would have is LinkedIn rewarding that. So there is a very negative side. Could it be controlled? I think it could be. Yes, it would need extra resources, and I think the benefits outweigh the negatives in that argument. More bad content, get it, but you get more good content, which is what we all want. We all want more good content. Every user on LinkedIn wants more educational, powerful content that they're getting more value from. So if LinkedIn starts to incentivize content creators, you're going to get more of that. And you're going to get higher qualities because these creators will be rewarded. So they can create more content. They can create better quality content, more consistent content. So there's sort of two ways to look at it, but I definitely appreciate the value of that argument. And it is very true. You are going to, unfortunately, get more bad content. But in reality, we're going to have bad content anyway, and we're going to have good content. So I think the pros outweigh the cons in that camp. Now, if we look at the positive side to this, let's say LinkedIn did start to reward, monetize, and incentivize its creators. What is that going to do? Well, it's going to encourage more people to create. More people are going to come out and start sharing content because they will be rewarded for it. So we are going to get some of the most talented, successful people out there coming onto the platform and sharing their knowledge and experience because they're getting paid to do so. And who are the most valuable people out there? They're the ones that aren't going to do it for free. They're the ones that need incentivizing because they are successful, they are busy, and they don't do things for free. They very rarely do things for free. So we are going to attract some great people. For the creators as well, it's going to give them more scope, more room to create studio spaces, to travel, to interview even better people, to create higher volumes of content. And I guess more importantly, you're rewarding people for the hard work they do. And that's not a bad thing. And actually, the biggest benefit, I mean, it's twofold in reality. LinkedIn benefits because if LinkedIn starts paying its creators, more people creating better content that will probably drive more engagement, which is going to do what for LinkedIn? It's going to drive more people, more eyeballs, which will sell more ad space, which will help them convert more of their ads into customers, drive more people to use the premium features. So LinkedIn benefits from this as well. It's a win-win scenario. LinkedIn benefits because chances are, I'm pretty confident, they would increase their revenues, their business grows, and the creators benefit because they're getting rewarded for what they do. So let me share my hot take on this. Let me share my personal thoughts. I'm in the camp that I genuinely think LinkedIn creators should be rewarded. I don't know what that number needs to look like. It has to be reflective of a fair balance of what LinkedIn is earning and what the creator is contributing. But I do think LinkedIn creators that hit certain milestones should be rewarded, and if possible, if there are ways to measure the organic engagement to make sure that people aren't being rewarded for artificial engagement, pod engagement, and maybe even the quality of the content goes into measurement. If any of that is possible, I'm all for it. I would like the best creators to be rewarded, who are driving the best engagement, who are giving real value to the LinkedIn network. Those are the people that should be rewarded. And I hope that if it does happen, it's going to reward and incentivize those existing creators, but also attract more people to start creating content and give more value to the network. That's what LinkedIn wants. That's what we as users want, and that's what we as creators want. Has to be a mutually beneficial arrangement, a win-win-win scenario. And whatever we can do to stamp out the negatives, the better. That's what I'm all for, as much as a lot of the users were. And when I put this sort of poll out to my audience, there were a lot of people that were against it for that sole reason, because they thought the wrong people would be rewarded and the wrong content would be encouraged. So whatever we can do to avoid that or stamp that out, I am all for it. But the creators on LinkedIn that are creating good content, I do think they should be rewarded. And I think by rewarding them, you're going to incentivize more good creators to create more great content, which is going to be valuable to every single user. And that's what we want. So that's my hot take on it. Now, I would love to know what you think. So let me know. Let me know under the videos. Let me know in the content that we share for this. Let me know on the podcast page. I would love to know what your thoughts are. Do you think LinkedIn should pay creators, or do you not? I think this is a conversation that is definitely splitting opinions. And where this goes, I don't know. Is LinkedIn listening? Probably. Are they considering this? From what I understand, it's been a conversation internally with them for a few years now. What will happen? I don't know. And where will this go? I'm not sure. But LinkedIn is growing, and for them to continue growing, they need more creators. So for them to keep getting good creators, at some point there has to be some level of reward, or otherwise, why will people put their own time into it? Now, one topic we will discuss in a future episode is how you can monetize your LinkedIn externally and generate your own sponsorship revenue. And I'm going to dig deep into that into a future episode. But for now, let me ask you this question, my lovely audience. Should LinkedIn pay creators? What do you think? Let me know. Let's keep this conversation going, and let's dig deeper into it. Let's explore it and see where we get to with it. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I'm excited to hear what you think on this topic, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.